Thank you. So, Sweet 16, y'all. This is amazing. Sweet 16 for this festival. So, about 4 years ago, my trajectory changed as a writer. Before, I had always written from my own life, primarily about family. As Lorna mentioned, my first book, Sister, was autobiographical. It was a collection of epistolary poems that reached back to my younger sister, 10 years younger than I. And my second book, Fanny Says, was about my mean-ass grandmother that did indeed use Crisco in some interesting ways. I'll let you read that poem. But why the change? So, it meant, of course, that I could pop onto YouTube and watch over and over clips about Panda sneezing and the baby goats in pajamas and the sloth petting the cat. I don't know if you guys have seen that one. It's totally worth it. And I call it research. It's amazing. But I switched because our world is in trouble. It's in trouble. And I don't need to tell you the news. Just this past October, I was on the road with Jessica. We were on tour, and I called home to Kentucky, and my mama picked up the phone and said, baby, you wouldn't believe it, but it's 100 degrees today. And she told me a story about how she went out to her back porch like she does every morning to have her coffee, and she said, you wouldn't believe it, but I couldn't hear nothing. And I said, what do you mean you couldn't hear? What are you talking about? And she said, not one bird. For 25 years, she's been going out to that back porch and having her coffee and listening to the birds, and there were no birds. So that's why I'm writing these poems. The animals, they are in trouble. And they're in trouble, at least to me, in the way that I was once in trouble as a child, at the mercy of others. And I wrote my way out of that. And I'm not actually crazy enough to think I can write their way out of it, but I can't help but try. So that said, I'm going to open with a prayer, because what else are we going to do? And this prayer is from my workshop. We're talking a lot about embodiment this week. We're talking a lot about using our senses. And for me, in order to understand animals and write about them, I've had to really learn how to use my senses. And this one is about the sense of hearing, which, of course, for a human, for us just to shut up and listen is a hard thing to do. So this is an invocation to listen, and I'm hoping it might be a good way to open a festival about poetry. It's called Prayer to Be Still and Know. Lord, let my ears go secret agent, each a microphone so hot it picks up things silent, reverbing even the hum of stone close to its eager silver grill. Let my ears forget years trained to human chatter wired into every room, even those empty except of me, each broadcast and jingle tricking me into being less lonely than I am. Let my ears forget the clack and rumble, our tamborining and fireworking distractions, our roar of applause. Let my hands quit their clapping and rest in a new kind of prayer, one that doesn't ask, but listens, palms up in my lap. Like an owl, let me triangulate icy shuffling under snow as vole. Let me not just name the name when I spot a soundtrack of birdsong, but understand the notes through each syrinx as a singular missive. Begging, flirtin', fussin', each companion call an alarm as sharp with desire and fear as my own. Prick my ears, Lord. Make them hungry satellites. Have your way with their tiny bones. Teach the drum within that dark to drum again. Because within the hammering of woodpecker is a long tongue unwinding like a tape measure from inside his pileated head, darting dinner from the pine's soft bark. And somewhere, I know, is a spider who births a filament of silk and flies it to the next branch. Somewhere, a fiddlehead unstrings its violin into the miracle of fern. And somewhere, a mink not made into a coat cracks open a mussel's shell and with her mouth full of that gray meat, yawns. Those are your sounds, are they not? Do not deny it, Lord. Do not deny me. I do not know those songs. Nor do I know the hush a dandelion's face makes when it closes, surrenders, then goes to seed. No, I only know the sound my own breath makes as I wish and blow that perfect globe away. I only know the small, satisfactory popping of roots when I call it weed and yank it from the yard. There is a language of all you've created. Hear me, please. I just want to be still enough to hear. Right here, Lord. I want to be. So when I started writing these poems, I thought I would write about the charismatic species. You know, the cute and cuddlies that make the World Wildlife Fund posters, the pandas, the giraffes, the rhinos. And what I found was that instead I fell in love with the discarded, ugly cousins of the kingdom, the possums. I love me some possums. I have a friend named Matilda who was a possum who was just wonderful. And the donkeys. I became completely obsessed with donkeys. I wrote about them for 2 years straight. And I couldn't help but turn my attention to animals that weren't necessarily struggling in some far-off place, but those that were living right there with me. My wife and I live in the mountains in North Carolina, in Asheville, in those Appalachian mountains, and the animals there really called to me. So this is a poem for the eastern wood rat, and it's called Self-Portrait as Eastern Wood Rat. Can y'all see the resemblance? Just right. Let us begin with my hair. That frizzy, God-forsaken mess sprung like Velcro from my head at 13. That hormone-fed explosion of caustic fuzz that laughed in the face of any hair goop or oil or spritz we could find at the dollar store. It was a middle school tease, a homeroom landing pad for paper planes and spit wads, half-chewed gum and gummy bears, a regular sport at my school with one goal in mind, to make the redneck girl in her high-water jeans cry. My hair, not just unmanageable or unruly or going through a phase, but a real fucking rat's nest, and that's just what my mama said, brush in hand. This, friends, is where the learning begins, because what I didn't know was only one rat builds that kind of miracle nest. Only one rat's a genuine pack rat, and that rat's made for the land that gave it a name. You see, I was wrong. I thought a rat was a rat was a rat, but I should have known better than to call similar beings all by one name, to hate them all the same. This rat's not the undifferentiated mass gnawing wires of red-lined neighborhoods and subway lines, not those garbage liquors that make the poor feel dirty no matter how much they scrub. No, this rat's a real forest nibbler, wearing its growing teeth down on ground-fall pecans, happy for just what the seasons bring. And here's what I can't let go. Despite the talk of rats taking over what we call our world, this rat, forgive us, is nearly extinct. It's our fault, working hard as we have to pave ourselves over, our best tracks strip mined or strip mauled, our mountaintops literally removed for a vein of coal. Because like a mistreated girl whoring in the back of her daddy's Chevy, it's as if we want to throw away what we were given because we were once made to feel it wasn't worth a damn anyway. This might be about shame, like how I worked so hard to scrub my tongue of the talk that, like me, came up from this mud. Because when I told my mama what happened at school, she put down the brush, quit her fuss, and said, "Baby, they're pea green with envy is all. Don't you give a rat's ass." What I mean to say is I grew up and figured how to shellac my hair into something nearly presentable, to trick it into looking like something it's not. But still, when I look in the mirror, it's that little girl from Kentucky staring back. No. What I mean is there's this kind of rat who works on a single nest all its life and lives in that one place till it dies, just as I can't seem to quit and leave this place behind no matter how far I move. No, that's not quite right. Let me say this plain. What I mean is I once thought myself white trash, that rat of all rats. But now I know I was only listening to the trash I was told. Because a close look at the eastern wood rat reveals a creature maybe messy and more than a little hungry, but meant to be here and still holding on, hoarding sticks and branches, broken glass and dried shit, crow feathers and rusted cans, wood screws and napkins and candy wrappers, forgotten flannels and cassettes, Barbie limbs and lost gloves, shreds of anything, just anything it can find to survive. All things sacred and profane to keep safe and warm in a place it can call home. I only have one more poem. It's a long-ass poem, but just one more, I promise. Before I read it, a moment of gratitude. Thank you to Susan, to Jennifer, and all of the staff and interns that have made this week happen for all of us. But especially, I don't know if you guys saw him briefly earlier today, Miles Kuhn. Please thank Miles Kuhn. He welcomed me to my first festival in 2005, and like a bad penny, I've been showing up ever since, so he's a wonderful person. This poem is called Mercy, and I'm going to need your help at the end of the poem. I'm going to call on you to speak. I'll hand you the microphone, and it won't be big. You'll know what to do. Mercy. Speak, beast, speak. Curled suburban cuddle in front of the fireplace, possum dreaming and paw kicking, your fur a tumbleweed down the waxed hallway, your ears cropped and your tail docked. Speak. Or how about you? Yes, you. Spotted neck stretched towards what's left of your acacia trees, neck as long as a man's grave is deep. I need you to fire that impossible distance between your heart and tongue and speak. Speak, you barred owls with the pink tip of a poisoned mouse dangling from your beak, all your many neck bones hinged in one spot so you can pivot your blinking face to me. I am watching. I am waiting. Look at me and speak. Speak, you black snake drowsing on the hot blacktop, your forked tongue remembering the long kiss of voles and tall grass, a memory gone when the woman runs over you, then twice again just to be sure. I need you to speak. Speak, you jittering squirrels, you murder of crows, you quarrel of sparrows, you pitying of turtle doves, you everyday outside flick of life at the mercy of these coming winds, these rising waters, filthy and licking with flames. Speak, sing to me. Call and fuss among what brittle branches left. I have opened my windows. I am listening. Speak, you hellbender, giant salamander you are, a rarity now put on educational display. You eel-looking haint once pulled up by fishermen in these mountains. Speak, because no one knows who you are anymore. You must make us remember. Turn your slack maw to my tapping on the bent plexiglass and speak. Say what it is you need to say. Oh, and you with your thick skull blown apart with a high caliber swagger. Your memory long and your once trumpeting gone. Speak to me from beyond. Tell me what it was to have those ears of yours in fury, raised like giant gray flags, how hard you fought and even once shot, how you just stood there, confused, already dead, but refusing to fall until your knees buckled, the rest of you slumped, and the great pillars of your tusks were chainsawed from your face. I need to hear especially from you. I have a photo here of a man grinning with your lopped off tail in his fist. I need you to speak, damn it. Speak. Say what it is you need to say. Or how about you, kin, but safe in a cage? I've heard your placid chewing at the zoo. You took a sweet potato from my hand with the wet, breathing end of your trunk, slid it into the deep socket of your mouth. I know that sound. I smiled at your keeper, fed you another treat, but now I need for you to speak. Try it. Swallow down that food and flex your tongue. Push out the grassy air from those miraculous lungs. I am waiting. We are all waiting. I am begging. Please, beast, speak. We are running out of time. There are so many of us, and what's left of you are swaying in pins, rocking from side to side, sleeping and aching and craving and thinking. I know you are thinking, but not saying a damn word. No, not one, which is all we need. I swear, all of you, you birds and cicadas, all you flying, leaping, vine-grabbing canopy beings, all you furred and quilled things too, or you chittering in your burrows and hiding in the dark, step from the mouths of your dens and speak. Listen to me. You belong here. You with a mouth full of milk, with dirt under your claws, all of you rooting and panting and hibernating and ruminating and standing by the fence, watching us speed past in our cars. Listen to me. I need you to try. Try to say just one word We can start slow with the low pleasure sound, the delicious that closes the door to home. Then growl out that middle vowel and what comes after. Let the back of your throat issue forth a warning and mean it. Get angry with me because you've had enough. Because if you don't find these sounds, there will be nothing left. Now you're almost there. Pull back your lips if you have them. Show your teeth if you have them. Hiss. Let out all the air, whatever air is left, and in doing so, take us back to all our beginnings with the sound of waves, with that final syllable, C. Now, try again. Try again. Try, please try, all at once. It's such a small word on which your lives depend. I'll do anything. Please, beast, speak. Say it with me now. Mercy. 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 Now, please, try. Try again. Repeat after me. Thank you.